Pleasant good morning, radio listeners. Welcome to your favorite program on Saturday morning, Sports Forum. I'm Antonio Venturin in the studios here with you on PJD2 102.7 FM and 1300 AM. And we are live on the air with your favorite program. As I said before, I want to thank all the regular listeners for listening in and send out some shout out to all those people who meet me on a weekly basis and tell me that they're in tune to the program. This morning, we're going to be talking basketball. We're going to take you down a trip down memory lane. So we're going down memory lane. So all those basketball fans, all those basketball fanatics, get close to your radio, call your friends, call your family, tell them basketball, history of basketball. We're talking this morning with some legends in basketball on St. Martin. With me in the studios is none other than the legendary Mr. Marty Williams. Marty, come a bit closer to the microphone and say pleasant good morning to the radio listeners out there.
Very pleasant good morning to all your listeners. Nice to be here again. Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, we like to have all the greats back with us more than once. You know, you you got a track record on St. Martin, so one interview ain't enough with you.
Appreciate that.
All right, and the first time in the studios with us, this is the man back in the days. We could hear back in the, but this is the man from the Trotters later on. I can't remember what it, but we know this man came into the league very dominant with the Trotters out of Soccer Garden back in the days. None other than David Brooks. David, pleasant good morning. Come a bit closer to the microphone.
Good morning to everyone. Shout out for all the all beautiful fans that we had out there before. Sorry that we are not playing like we used to anymore, but these legends that you are gonna hear now,
we're gonna bring back the memories. Now, David, I could throw in a question because you ever had a nickname in basketball? Because I couldn't find your nickname nowhere.
Definitely.
What was your nickname in basketball? Come closer to the microphone.
If Cream don't ball out, Shank something wrong.
Okay.
Shank was his nickname.
Okay.
I have no idea where he get it from, but
Listen, you can tell us about that nickname sooner. And you heard it already. David announced it in the studios with us. First time, man. We've been trying to get this guy for the longest of while. On the radio stations with us is none other than man himself, Joseph Holaman, a.k.a. the Cream. Cream, welcome to the program.
oh, good morning to the radio listeners out there, and many thanks for that wonderful introduction. I love how you put out, make me really feel like a legend. So to the listening radio fans out there, we want to say good morning, and hope you will enjoy the program as we take you way back in time, to tell you how we come about
All
playing
right.
basketball.
So there you have it, radio listeners. Tune in. You got to stay tuned, locked in tune for the duration of this program because we're talking to three of the best basketball players that ever walked the face of St. Martin here. David, what's his nickname? Was Shank?
Shank.
What? Shank. Wow, that sounds like a knife. You used to cut hard. That sounds like a knife. You used to hit some daggers in the heart, then with the ball. David, tell us a bit about yourself. When did you start playing basketball?
I was what? 14 years old? Yeah. That's when I really started. I started on a dot field.
On a dot field?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just put up a bicycle rim, put a piece of board on it, on the Thomond tree right there in Soccer Garden. And the old guy around there used to always tell us, you make sure you don't hurt yourself. You had fellows like Juni Violinos.
Juni Violinas, that name sounds familiar. That was the girl's the nickname, the legal nickname, because some people they don't recognize. That was he passed away.
Yeah, he had passed away from a very young age also. Actually, he was my power guard. He was one of the best, smoothest players I ever seen. When it come on that baseline, it was like, hey, you don't even got to look at that ball.
His nickname was something started with a D. I can't bring it there right
I
now.
can't remember his nickname. Then you had Errol Baptiste.
Errol, okay.
You had Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, that's Alex Hodge. That's my brother-in-law, man.
And then you got Milton, better known as Barley.
Okay.
You know, we guys we take it to a level after when you got a man like Cream, Marty Williams, and then they're telling you, hey, you all little young boys and why you just start on the side, you're gonna take all you out. And then you're gonna hear Junie tell me, David, I'm a sick man, I can't play. Now, remember, I said, hey, listen, I don't want you playing too hard.
Mm-hmm.
What I want you to do is when you see I lapse in, you cost me.
Okay. So you guys started off in Soccer Garden on a
Dot road,
with a basketball rim. I think most everybody started off like that, besides the Tongue fellas, because Creamer, I had a good court in Tongue. Where you started playing basketball, man?
That's not true.
No?
I started off in my father-in-law yard. Actually, yeah, we had we also did put up a bicycle rim in the back of the yard, and there we started out. But it had a little slope, so you could run down and you could dunk the ball. So, so that was our bread and butter. Don't forget, even though it had the court, you have to be a certain level to play on the court.
Okay.
Because at that time it was Freddie and Frankie. Those guys came off.
Those were the older guys.
Yeah, they were the more advanced guys at that time. And
True.
when we did go on the court, we used to have to stay in a corner, and you improve from there on a makeshift rim also. And basically they would like scout you, and they were like, okay, I think you good enough.
Cream ready to come on now.
Yeah, you want to play with us?
Yeah.
But you will only get the opportunity hoping that the other guys didn't come. So that was I hoping Dookie don't come, so that would be my chance to get on. So they don't have enough people to say, hey, Cream, come play with us. And then you would go over, and that's the way you would move up. And you would, if the more games you could win,
the longer you stay.
So, but I think basically, all of us started out with a little, makeshift rim. Because, that time basketball was in infancy here. And we basically was just copycat. We just looking at it and just trying to mimic what we see on the television when we get a chance to see it.
When you see television, you get a chance.
When we do get a chance to see it on TV.
All right.
So, that's the way we started out as well.
So, Marty, tell us about your starting out days. We know you were here already. You started out.
Basically, when I lived in Simpsonville, born and raised in Simpsonville, and I went to Saunders when I was like 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing baseball actually. And at 9, I left to go to the States, and that's when I started playing basketball. The same thing in the backyard, just playing with guys, and my cousin said, man, you look like you got some skills, so talked to the school coach, and then I ended up on the school team, and from there I went from grade school straight to high school playing ball.
All right. So now you returned to St. Maarten from the U.S. In what year? You can remember that year that you returned?
A lot of people, I want to say 79.
79.
78, 79, yeah.
And when you came back, you had a place, you put the place on fire because basketball went to another level with Marty. You could remember those days when you returned to the island.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people, I myself don't remember, people tell me a lot of stories, that's how I actually.
Mm-hmm.
But basically I just came back to Simpson Bay. Bobby Hartley and the BBW Giants were, I think that was maybe the first or second year playing ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Rastobia, my neighbor, told me come play some ball with us.
Nelson Berry.
Yes, sir. So I told him, okay, no problem. Went up by the school. They used to play in the Regina school at that time. Thanks to Miss Claire Peterson, who gave us permission to set up a rim.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys made welding, Sam Peterson weld up rims, everything, put up everything themselves. So Bobby Hartley told me to sit down and watch the guys practice, and you're going to practice with the junior team next. So, they practiced, the junior team started practice. He pulled me on the side, he said, come. So you sit down here with these big
You get promoted one time.
At that time, Key Richardson was on the team, Dolfo, Canagito, David Gomes. Those kind of people.
Leo Peters.
Exactly.
Leo Peters was strong in those days.
So, and then the first game I remember playing was against the Traitors. And Dookie told me that, I think that beat him the first game, that he needed some help. So,
mm-hmm.
I think we won that game, and that was like a championship celebration. This is the one game we play, everybody's celebrating. I'm just like, that's just a game.
In those days, it was big to
But
beat the
then
traitors.
What happened is I came to town the day after, walked through front the street. And then I realized what was going on. Because everybody stopped me on the road. I saw the game last night. I finally beat the traitors. Blah, blah, blah. And that's how basketball was in those days, because everybody spoke about basketball. No matter where you went on the island, the game the night before, people would stop you and want to talk about the game. And I mean, that was the hype.
Saito Traitors were big back in the days, man. David Brooks, let's get back over to you, because you guys came in the league for the first time with the Trotters, or you played with any other team before that?
Actually,
Come a little closer to your microphone so we could get our voice on documented.
The team had me Dr. J Brothers first.
Dr. J Brothers.
Wow. You forgot? You forgot that. You remember that year too? We played 1 year with the small guys with that team. And we did clean up the whole of the small
Oh, you
team.
became champs.
Yeah, one time. And we decided we're not playing the small guys no more, we want the big guys.
But that's after Rebels had left, right? That's after Rebels had left
already.
Okay. We got established a good timeline. Otherwise, again, problems with cream there.
Rebels was the first team we had played. When we had played Rebels, we had Diablos from Sagagan. The whole team was from Sagagan.
Okay. In those days, it was basically districts. A lot of districts.
Right. And the honest team used to make us look small was Rebels. And when they leave now, we take over. And when we started to play, I tell the guys, we too advanced for the smaller teams. He said, but we younger than these fellas here. I said, I'm the oldest in the team. Junie said, you think we could make it? I said, well, I don't know, probably got Rebels, you know. If we could come over Rebels, we come over anything. When we come up, top Rebels. Bamboo on one side laughing at me. Cream on the other side, you come from Rolex. I'm like, wow. Boy, and my team watching me pull me now in the middle of the mix because they're expecting me to do more. And I didn't have a choice.
You can remember some of the names of some of the teams that were in the league that time when you first started off. You can remember in the junior league when you started off with the Dr. J Brothers.
But we still had Trickers. We had
Trickers was out of St. Peter's.
Yeah, we had Bullets still. Bullets was
Bullets with the boys we raid out Katong.
They had the team from the region, you could say, with Gerald James and all of them. Can't remember the name of it. And then we had the guys then from Colby, which was under the name of from all yourself.
Oh, Striders.
BBW.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I won't tell you no lie, all of us was playing some ball there. But then it was because of, I gotta say, because of Cream, Marty, Bamboo, Fermin. I learned a lot from them. What I did was I could have take from Cream power. I learned to adapt to power. Then I could have take from Marty shooting. Then I could have take from Bamboo block shots. Then I take a little piece off of Fermin, and that was just to make myself a real powerhouse. Now when I play in the zone, it was like dominating. I know now I have to play speed, power, and smartness. That was Marty. You have to know when and when not to. It was very touchy. Then I remember him telling me, Cream telling me, you can't play ball sitting on home all day. You either get up and train or don't train at all. Then
Get up and train or don't train at all.
Correct. I asked him more than once. Remember that day on the court downtown? I said, what are you talking about that? He said, when you're down there, you're playing good. We want to pick you and put you with the big fellas, but when you're playing against us, you're scared. You remember? I went outside on the long wall, sit down. When I sit down there, I started to cry. God, now I got Cream to deal with, Joe to deal with,
Who's the mailman?
Fermin to deal with, big fellas, you know. And I tall and thin, but strong. And I sit down there and started to cry. Bamboo come out, he said, but what you crying for? I said, because I know how to play you. Bamboo say, get up your backside on Saturday morning, come down on the court. All in. I said, Bamboo boy, how you want me to do that? He said, you just run. You think we don't see you running? You just run. I said, so come down on the court very early in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, down there, Bamboo come over. He said, come, pose here. Stand up right there and pose. And he started to show me some things. Now, I ain't training with my team. I started training with these guys, them learning different type of playing. And I remember one day, boy, Bamboo tell me, I will put you to play against Joe. Oh my God.
Joe was the mailman.
He was the mailman. That was like a tractor you're dealing with. You don't know how to play him. He's so powerful. Anyhow, when I sit down there, I realized that the guys that was naturally pushing me to a different level. I didn't know what was for. I didn't try to ask questions. I just tried to do what they asked me to do. And then Freddie brother, Frankie, he come up there by sundial. He said, I want to coach all you. The fellas them come around me and said, what do you think there? I said, he said, you want to coach us. We could learn from these older guys because they are there for that. And Frankie started showing us a lot of fundamental, something that we was lacking. We knew the game, but we didn't know the fundamental.
All right. Hold your thoughts for a few minutes. Let's go over to Creek. Go ahead.
You know you're right about that. The fundamentals, you know when the fundamentals really came into play is when Marty and Freddie and all those guys came to the island, because we were just seeing something and just
Playing it.
mimic, but we didn't have the basic fundamentals, so we were basically playing off of natural strength. I remember the first time I played against Marty team, and they was calling out plays, and I was like, what? The guys calling plays on us, and we ain't got a clue what's going on. So they would call like 1, 2, and I remember Marty would go high-low and then come up and pop that shot. I said, boy, these man playing fundamentals. And you know what I said to them? No, what we got to do is use our strength. And our strength was run and gun.
Run and gun basketball.
Run and gun basketball, man. That was my favorite. Bamboo said, Cream, the minute the ball hit the net, just go. and after we started to look at that, and we also learn, because, you know, as a people, human being, you're always learning. If you're willing to move forward, you got to be open to learning.
Correct.
And even though he wasn't on our team, we see something that we never saw before.
Yeah.
We saw organized basketball. And then we start to go to the court when they're training and look at them a little, you know. They can't put me on the court because
everybody
intended to be in the court. And then we start to, you know, introduce basic fundamentals to our game. And then after Dan and Bobby realize, okay, look, these guys are talented, but now we have to mold that talent. How we gonna mold that talent? They started to bring in coaches like Coach Graham. I think the first coach they brought in was McDuffie, if my memory.
McDuffie, correct.
Yeah, and once he came in and started to teach you the fundamentals, you realize that the game is so much easier if you know what you're doing. You know, and when I add that to my game, I become a less selfish, and I realize, oh my God, it made the game so much easier. But still, boy, I never gonna get a decent shot like Marty. So what? He had one, you know, look, I'm not gonna lie, he have one prettiest shot. If three-pointer line was around then, wow, man, he was
a 3-point king.
Yeah, so
he used to take advantage of that and smile at you. He used to actually watch you smile and come.
Marty, how it is hearing all these.
He was a bad man.
He was dominant.
He was a bad
I appreciative, it's good to hear. At least while you're alive, you get people talking good about you, because these days only when you're dead, people talk good about you. So I appreciate that. But the feeling is mutual, and these are the guys that push me to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to go train. Finish work 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock back on the court again to train. So, those kind of things. And I never really played the juniors here. But I remember doing drills on the court, and the younger guys just standing around watching drills. And then I'll go.
Yeah, I used to be there, but
I'd be
present.
before a game, and I'll see them doing the same drills before the game, and I'd be like, okay.
We used to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Present, watching.
One time, Ronnie Jacobs was because all those guys started playing ball in Simpson Bay. And most of the Kobe fellas used to come down.
But he himself used to play, man.
Yeah.
You used to have to run from Colby or walk from Colby.
Remember, he ran the mic there, but he trying to be a little shy on us. He used to take advantage too.
Yeah, but those days, like Cream said, the fundamentals started to raise the level of the game that we started to play, and then the competition level was high too, because like you said before,
correct.
Most of the teams were district teams. So when BBW Giants, which is Colby and Simpson, were playing against Town, St. Peter's College is rammed out, cars packed all over the place, and people coming in trucks and walking. I don't remember the Weaver girls and walking from Town straight South Ward and back down, and they always had these cans with rocks in them.
Yeah,
And
the soda can.
Knock them.
Things on the noise, whistle blowing, you can't hear them noise, you can't stop because
yeah.
So how was your first game? 1 minute, David. What your first team that you played for, Cream? Your first team that you played for was?
No. Everybody figured that I used to play for Goldies Eagles. I never played for Goldies.
Okay.
I used to be around them, but the team was full, so I never did get on the team. So we decided, and some of the guys who never used to get enough playing time, decided, something, let me form our own little team.
Okay.
And I always play with Rebels. And then it had a time, I think, during our later years, when I started the veterans, I asked Rebels if they was coming out, and they say, nah, they was not sure. And I played, I think, that one season with Trickers.
Yes.
With Trickers.
Yes.
Okay.
And to my disbelief, Rebels, they said they wasn't coming out. They came out that same year. I was like, are you serious? But I done committed to Trickers, and they put a beating on me. I'm like, man.
You can remember who you started off in Rebels with in those days?
Let me see from the top of my head. I'm going to go through some of them. It was Tony, Steve, Mikey.
Yeah.
Mikey.
We had
which Mikey is that?
Mike Gums from St. Peter's.
Okay.
You know Tony Gums? He was a teacher. He used to work with us at G.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
His brother. And then, believe me, we had Hendy.
Hendy Ford
played with us. We had God bless him and rest him. We had what a young man in name Stuart
Engel.
Stuart Engels played with us. We had Roland. We had
Chumalau.
Yeah, better than us Chumalau. Oh boy, Marty, biggest nightmare.
You can tell us about that just now. You have a good point here.
We had who else? I'm missing anybody? I don't miss anybody. I said Bamboo.
Claret, I think you missed Claret.
Oh my God, how could I miss
Flash?
The Flash man.
I when you start to call names, you're just
You're up in trouble. But
Clarence wasn't all in those days.
Clarence came on board after. Then Neville also did join us after. Hillary used to coach us. I hope I'm not missing nobody. Fellas, if I forget anybody,
don't feel upset.
in my advanced age, man, allow me to forget.
Well, let's just apologize in advance like they do no patrice. If we miss anybody, it wasn't intentional. It was not
So there's a few
intentional.
of the guys that even Alex, what you used to call Paga, he played with us. So
All right. Well, radio listeners, if you just joined us, of course, you're in tune to Sports Forum on 102.7 FM and 1300 AM PJD2. I'm Antonio Venturin in here with you, and we are talking basketball with three legendary basketball players. I grew up watching all these players here. Marty Williams, we used to sit on the side and watch him practice and then try to mimic his shot. You couldn't mimic that three-point shot because you had a special release, man. You still have the release?
Finish it, touch, boy.
And David in those days, Davis was one of the tallest players on the field, coming out of one of the young guys coming up with the Trotters. We used to, and Cream. Don't talk about the Cream. I think Cream was one of the first guys I ever saw dunk in a game, man. He was one of the first I saw dunk in MPC in a game. And listen, I don't think I even see the dunk. I see the movement, and afterwards everybody tell me a dunk. And we talk about that for months because those days, I mean, it wasn't common. But the competition was fierce in those days. You had all the guys. You had Rebels. You had Saito Traitors. You mentioned a while ago Felmin, but Felmin came on the scene afterwards because Felmin came with
Tigres.
Tigres. Okay.
Junior Gums and Photo Gums brought a whole team.
Yeah.
From the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And most of them ended up staying, so they just formed a team here. But a lot of those guys were amateur,
semi-pros. Huh?
So when they came, they raised our level even more. In those days, we also had Bobby would bring Ansel from Aruba, and Don would bring some guys from St. Kitts, and
competition was fierce.
Especially last time, we always had imports. People were always importing players.
How it was because I don't think Rebels ever brought in any players. Trotters didn't bring in any players. How it was playing against those guys coming from abroad, because I know when Ansel came in, now you had moved on then to, I think, ball medalers in Yunduki.
Yeah, Yunduki had left, and the thing with that is I had his uniform, so he had to come by me to get his uniform. So I didn't know he was at that time. I just heard about him, Guy knocking on my door, and hey, Bobby sent him for a uniform. So
Ansel.
So I gave him the uniform, and we played against him the next game, and he wore the uniform backwards. I'm like, what are you wearing the uniform backwards for? I said, because you had it on. So he didn't want to wear the uniform because I had it. But we ended up good rivalry, with shot for shot, and then we ended up good friends after that. Up to today, I still talk to him, so it was all good. The competition
was vicious.
But you know what's good about that, right? Even though the competition was fierce, after the games, it was like you won't believe that these guys just pound on each other, push each other out the field. It was amazing, to see the respect that remained after the game.
I think what had a little bit to do with that too is because a lot of us played on the national team together.
Not only that, I want to say that
we always had dealings with each other differently than basketball. So even after we finished playing Rebels, and then my girlfriend lived in Fort Will, I'm have to walk past.
I have no choice.
So I have to walk, and all those guys sitting on my Gil was talking about.
They're moving.
But not only that, because remember Milton Peter was like our home, Actually, when you finish play ball, you seen everyone walking down together, and you will hear Cream. They taught you to get away today. Then you hear Bamboo. Man, I put on that black and you get frightened. You hear Marty on the other side, boy, tomorrow coming back for you, But we used to do it in a way where you go the next day and you train. You train extra hard just for that next game. And when you come out there with fire in your eyes. Sometimes I would hear Cream, and I could hear it loud. Don't give him a chance to get that ball in his hand. If you get that ball in his hand, you can't stop him in the zone. Don't give him that ball. Hey, when you look, you got a fella like, as he said, Chuma. Yeah, he was like a dog.
A while ago.
Let's go to Chumala. Roland Catty. He was He was a defensive specialist. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't think Chumala will ever take more than 2 shots in a game.
He picked his shots. But Chumala, he was a specialist.
When he take his shot,
make 2 or 3 shots. I'm looking out for Chuma. I know the buzzer gonna buzz because Chuma coming in the game.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'll tell you one thing.
First thing he's gonna do.
He used to pick his shots.
Stick his elbow.
Wow.
I'm in the game.
He's a real David Rodman.
You know what?
But I was special.
Dennis Rodman, sorry.
You know what he used to say?
But I was never dirty, eh? Not never dirty, but
He would come and he always would push up onto you.
yeah.
He would push his lower body
Make
up
you
onto
feel
you.
uncomfortable.
So put you off
balance.
throw you off balance.
Yeah.
And then once he get you off balance, he would laugh, you know. And I was like, boy,
Tease
Chuma,
you,
you
yeah.
something else, boy. But that was it. You know what I forgot to mention? And mine just come to mind is Clem. Because of
Clement
mentioning Chuma so much, Clem just come to mind. So Clem and Bamboo, man, you all just come back to my mind. So, but talking about training, we used to train, if the team in training, you was obligated to go out on an individual base and put in some kilometers on the road. I remember, you just used to see guys without a team, just run around DV, come up Bellier. You do 2-3 laps there, and then after you go on the court, you sprint. We used to put in the work because we wasn't the most talented bunch of guys. We had,
Yeah, we found that out when
Yeah.
we started to travel.
yeah.
You know, when we started to go to teams.
But what we used to make sure that we're in good shape, because sometimes, right, if you're in good shape, sometimes the most skillful guys, you could take them out.
Yeah.
And I remember that's what we used to base on. Look, fellas, stay in shape, because especially when you come up against teams like Marty, which is you had BBW, Giants, and all of those things. El Tigres, those teams was grounded. Those teams were fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
So our way of beating them, it was just run them down the ground till they're tired, and then make them like, okay, look, they're gonna play the next game. We're not do that with Rebels again. Because I used to take joy and pride to look over the next bench and see everybody like wondering.
Hanging the head down.
Yeah, and once I see you hanging your head, okay, this is the time for me to just close this game off, you know. So it's
You can remember how much times Rebels win the championship, because Rebels won the if I'm not mistaken, some way we read in the champion, if I'm not mistaken, Rebels won the junior division, and then they moved up one time to the senior division as the first.
That's the way it used to be back in those days.
Yeah.
If the junior team won the championship, they would automatically move up to
You
the
have to
A.
move
Okay,
up.
you have to move up.
You have to move up.
Okay, so
The number of times, I really can't tell you, but I believe it's.
Yeah, another thing too, in those days you used to have competitions, and then between the competition was always knockouts.
knockouts.
Yeah.
So it was continuously playing. So it was knockout championships, seasonal championships.
So you're
I
constantly
can't
staying
remember
shape.
all of those.
But numbers, but there were quite a few. But for me to put a number on it,
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult.
it's gonna be.
All right, all right.
What I found good about this, the Pelican Awards, getting back to that a little bit, is that I heard a lady on your program the other, I think last week, and she was talking about stats. And then I found out very important, not just because somebody was well known, but she actually went and she looked at stats and numbers, you know, so she got good data.
Yeah, we were lucky to have some. We were lucky to have some data.
You
Yeah.
find? Yeah.
Yeah, we have some data. The champion review books. We found we got.
Used to send out
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, had some good. Have some
Hey,
good
last time
data
I was
from.
here, you showed me that I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
But you have them in there.
I have some books here. I have a few years here. I have a few years. I have 1981. I have 83. I have 85. I have 88, 87, and 88. So they have some good statistics in it, man. You could see, and you got a good picture of how basketball was in back in the days. Some of the guys. There's a great story in one of those books about the rivalry actually between when he left. That's why I was able to talk as if I was there. When he left and from the rivalry. I think the rivalry started off with BBW
Giants.
and
Traitor.
Traitors, and then
It went to ball
it went to ball medalers from there, and the competition was between Marty, Dookie, and then you have Bobby brought in Ansel Tico Cooper from Aruba, and I think Don brought in a point guard for the traitors. I think Dunky, and
Oh,
Yeah.
donkey.
Dunky, and then the book also mentioned this guy from the Fireballs from the French side, Tampy.
I never got a chance to play against him.
No,
Yeah?
Yeah,
You
left.
didn't
When I
get
came,
a
he had
chance?
already left.
Yeah.
okay, so you know,
Marty, but you remember a fellow used to play with you all called Norman? He had some
Yeah,
skinny
yeah, no, I'm
locks,
from Aruba, yeah.
but he lived in the US. He used to live in the
I used
US.
to live in the U.S.
Norman was as slow as a turtle, but fundamentally sound. He would come and post you up in the box, and he used to shoot. He used to get you, put you on his hip, and always shoot this way. You remember that?
Yeah.
Smooth.
Baby hooked, baby hooked.
There's other guy used to play with us on ball medals too, Bernard, I think the last name was Pemberton.
Banatic.
Came here a couple of years here, but he was an excellent player. He used to play with us for ball medals. He used to live up in Saunders or something. I think you would know his sister. Can't remember her name right off the bat now. But anyway,
This
those are all
Pemberton,
guys.
Pemberton has
But
son,
a lot of guys playing
Yeah.
basketball was.
So David, let me ask you, you could, what would be your most fondest memory of a game, for example, that you played at an MPC? You can remember, let me take you back, see if you can remember anything from those days. Try to jolt the memory, man. What was your a memorable game that you played at MPC back in the days?
Two of the most biggest games that I played was Rebels and El Tigres. El Tigres was one of the most fundamental players they were. And they had this guy had named Exceedus.
Alcides.
Alcides.
Okay.
Exceedus. And this guy was like he said, he used to move a kind of slow. But when he hit you that slow move, out of nowhere, he could have pulled up anywhere and hit you anything. And then another time is when I'm playing against Cream and them. I remember one day me and Cream get at it on the field and all. They start saying the two bulls against each other. Hey, like I said, power was a very, very vicious thing. But at the same time, what I could have do against Cream and against Bamboo and them is I could have used my speed with height. I had a lot of height, but a lot of speed. I could have shoot, I could have rebound, and I could have blocked.
You was almost like a ball handler in those days. You could have handled the ball,
He handled the ball a lot of it.
which we had thought was strange. But now, I mean, looking back at it, you might make it in the NBA as a ball.
When I played against him, I would always rather for him to handle the ball on the top. We couldn't stop him underneath.
I used to like when you go on
I
the
was
ball.
glad when he handled it. I would tell him, yeah, leave him out there.
Leave him out there.
'Cause once he got the ball in the zone, it was very difficult to stop him.
But not only that, now I remember in Aruba also, as cap, we always called Cream Cap. And I remember a night we playing in Aruba, we playing against Aruba self. I hear Cap tell me, I don't want you playing on the bottom court. Go up there with Snoop. I said, but Cream, they sent me in the back. You don't understand what I said. If I gotta say it, I gotta tell them to take you off. I said, okay, Cream. I gone now, I figure in, I go, defend and help, you know? You hear Snoop saying, Cream tell me he want me ball handling, you got a ball hand. Well, I get scared. I really get scared that day because you know I have to actually shine. And I didn't practice with him that motion, but he knew I couldn't do it. And he comes out to me and said, I know
But
you're
there was a
scared.
reason for that, you know.
Yeah.
What happened is, you had me down in the box. I didn't even need him up there. And for some reason, Snook wasn't getting the ball down.
Snook, we talk about Mac Edwards, the
Mac-
bear.
Mac, yeah. He was pretty good, but for some reason, he wasn't getting the ball down. So once we put the taller guy out, and honestly speaking, I think David would feel much better on the top.
On the
there.
top, eh?
Oh yeah. Because I did it. I actually
So I just do all the banging down there. So
I like explode. And just when I started to really explode, I hear he telling me, but you don't want to shoot a ball? I said, no, are you shooting already? But the ball was going where they wanted to be, you know? And I really play hard and soul that game. That when we lose a game, he see me sit down, he comes out to me, he said, don't cry, man. I say, boy, I messed up. He say, why you say you messed up? Because I get fouled out. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But then I know why too. Because every time we catch the score up and kite further, Freddie take and put me down on the bench. Every time he do that cream shaky head, on the bench, and I say, Lord, I hope they keep the score. I hope they keep the score. Because every time you go in back, all that means Snooks go back in. The ball wasn't reaching on bottom court anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was something Cream knew that I didn't knew. And I think I give him a lot of rest when I was playing that game. And in that game is when I really realized that as a big man ball handling, it was like making a game easier. Because you could have found your players better.
All right. So, radio listeners, if you just joined us, you're in tune to 102.7 FM, 1300 AM Sports Forum. We're in here and we're talking with the basketball legends of St. Martin. All these guys are going to be recognized at the Brown Pelican Awards come November 13th. It's going to be held at in the Navas building. So make your way, get your tickets and make your way over there and support these guys, basketball legends on St. Martin. We're talking to Joseph the Cream Holaman, David Shank Brooks, Joseph Marty Williams. Hey, these guys have really made a true impact on basketball on St. Martin. And I hope the youngsters on St. Martin, you guys, because you guys have moved away from the sport now. You're no longer involved in the sport, right?
Not. No, I can't say.
Well, your career spanned something like what, 20 years, 25 years?
Because I was playing here, well into my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
I stopped
from
in
16 into your 40s. So.
I did stop about game 46. I stopped.
46.
Yeah,
Wow.
46 years old. I stopped.
That's a long time, boy. A lot of playing, boy.
No, I stopped when I was 42. Not officially stopped then. I was just sidelined for about a year because at 42 I did rupture my Achilles. So I was about out for a year. And then after, when I got back into sports, I went to cycling. And because, on doctor's advice, that was the best thing for me at that time. And then me as a person who don't like to sit quiet for too long, I think that's a good idea. And then after once I got that Achilles rehabilitated and everything going good, I started back playing veterans again. And I played, wow, man, I think I played right up until I about 50 because we used to play pickup games.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I used to play pickup games, so I'd play right up in the 50s.
When was the last tournament that you played at?
And then the last tournament we played, that was in Guyana, French Guyana.
Oh, no, I didn't go. That's the last. I didn't go. That
French Guyana. That was in 2000. When was Hurricane Irma?
Irma was 2017. So
2016 is when
we're still playing veterans.
Yeah, we were still playing veterans then.
Okay.
Yeah, but then when you stop after, I think when you stop after, we had one more year of veterans here.
No, when I
Right
stopped,
here.
I stopped once I
I don't remember if you remember that, when it was me, I think, Seafleet, old man.
No, I was gone.
All that time.
After 2016,
so we had it
I
like
was
one
gone.
more time, and then is when I stopped.
You guys the trio, you ever played together on a national selection?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which year that was?
From the first Liga tournament, he played in the first Liga tournament, right?
That was 86 then.
That was
Yeah.
86.
86 or 85, 86.
Yeah, 86.
Just when the LB Scott Sports Auditorium was just built.
Actually, it was actually built.
Okay,
It was built for that.
It was built for that. That was the first time they really brought the Leeward Island
Yeah,
tournament.
but
on the
before
air.
that, they had
Yes.
they had 2 years or 2 years before
2
that.
years
we
or 3
played in.
years we played.
Yeah, I remember we played St. Kitts.
So
Playing
since
St. Kitts too.
82, we've been playing together.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: who's the most difficult player that you ever played with on a court, Cream? That when I say difficult, the person that used to harass you the most challenging player to go up against in your mind, in your recollection.
The most challenging player.
Yeah, defensive wise, or hardest to defend, or
Oh man, to tell you the truth, I never take it like somebody being difficult to me, because I always used to be like pride myself on defense and always get. I was just at that time blessed with this amount of strength that I used to just overwhelm most
You
of
can
my
move
opponents.
mountains.
So I won't pick, but come to game myself, Marty was our biggest problem. Individual, me as an individual, I never really see myself having a problem with the defensive players. But when you talk about a player who gonna give you team a problem, was Marty. I was like, oh my God, this fella, he make it cross the half court and he shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And
He was getting to be like
he was
a tick.
he was our Steph Curry at that time, and you cannot defend that. So the only thing we chose to defend that is, something, we can play a boxing one. So Truman, as soon as he cross, you on him, and that was the only way we could get to put Marty in a box. But for the rest, like, give me a hard time, I don't know. You all remember anybody give me a hard time? Maybe I can remember. But me personally, I don't
I
remember.
could tell you one fella gave him the hard time.
Tell me.
That was Mini.
Mini.
Mini, a night, Cream gets so vexed, and I saw that in my own eyes. I even asked me, I said, what are you doing? When you start to do that now, Mini, Cream, and I'm going to poke licks in my behind. Don't do that, man. He said, if you don't chuck him a little bit, you're going to get him vexed. Because I never see Cream vexed now. Honestly, never seen him get vexed.
Yeah, Many used to do that, yeah. And I was like, Many stopped that shit.
Mini had him
But he
up
paid
a
a price for
wall.
that, though. Oh, he paid a
Mini had
price.
him up a wall, boy. I said, boy, Mini, you're going to make me get killed outside there, boy.
So they had to look for some kind of strategies to take you out your game and stop lose
But
the
it used to
focus.
short live. It used to bother me.
I just remembering Junie Violina's nickname Junda. Junda. I used to call him Junda, man. Great. So David, you don't mention Bamboo already as maybe one of the most challenging. For you, in your days, who were the most dominant players that you played with on your position?
For me, I had a problem with his center, Marty.
Oh, Barney. Alex Harrigan.
Alex Harrigan was really,
Yeah, he tuned in the
he was
US
like
now.
slick. He was like slick with it,
Mm-hmm.
And he just used to make this slight little move. I had a certain time, he was giving me problems in the center there, because once I reached on that free throw zone there, that was like my house.
Mm-hmm.
I built that house there that no one could have stopped me on. No matter what they do. Not even Cream could have stopped me when I come up on the top of that zone.
Is that
there.
really true?
The free throw.
Stop a lot of people, man.
not on the free throw line. The free throw line was my house. And I used to hear Marty saying, I told her already, I had to be blocking with two man. I don't shoot. Touch your hand, try him off, do something. Leave him try the free throw. But free throw was my favorite thing. But with Cream, Fedmin, it was like a different type of playing. You have to be very careful when you pass Cream. When you pass Cream.
God. I used to lay up the ball and come back down, and the defense still on our side, man.
When we talk about Bamboo, of course, we talk about Alfredo Pantaflet.
Alfredo
Yes.
Pantaflet.
He was dominant back in those days, also as a center.
Of course.
And had a pretty decent shot too,
Yeah.
Smooth. Bamboo had a nice turnaround jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
He was
That
really
was one of
smooth.
the original big men from the old days that dominated the paint.
Yeah, it's true.
He just dominated the paint. That was about it.
Who are some of the other dominant players that you guys could remember? Of course, because we talking, but we want to give everybody their due credit.
Dookie was one of them.
Dookie Richardson,
Duke was, oh my God.
We could talk about Dookie, we could talk about Bob, we could talk
Bob Roberts.
Remember
Bob
Earl?
Roberts.
Yeah.
Merkman from Station.
Yeah.
I heard
Excellent,
of
excellent, excellent.
Not only he too,
God,
you still got Clarence.
Clarence Garnett, yeah.
Clarence,
Yeah.
Clarence, he was Clarence.
He was one of the
Oh
top
my
shooters,
God.
I think.
Yeah.
Short range, but he was more
Yeah,
mid-range
Clarence
short range shooter.
He was one of the dominating shooters outside.
We had Joe. Joe has a lot of power.
Yeah.
We had who else? Oh my God, Dookie. How could we forget the
Yeah,
Duke?
and don't forget
Then the
Gerald James. Gerald.
Gerald James was a bad man.
Yeah.
I used to wonder if this fella used to get tired. Gerald.
Just after the pandemic, they was playing some ball up in the school in Gerald.
Yeah.
Gerald still running
He's
around.
still
like a
running
teenager.
around.
Yeah.
He made from special materials.
Yeah, he was awesome. You had Milton too now, which we used to call him Body, like I say. He was an orthodox shooter.
Raleigh.
Raleigh
Busby.
Yeah,
Yeah, Raleigh was strong.
Roland, his
He
brother
was strong.
Roland. You know, all those guys that was really
And then we had
dominated.
Dave.
Dave Gomes from Colby.
Colby,
Yeah,
yes, he was
dude,
one
yeah,
too.
Dave was-
Look,
And
had a lot
don't
of-
forget
lot of players, man.
what he name now. He would drink a lot now. He used to play baseball from Colby.
Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis. He was a left hander with a lot of power.
Dolphy.
Dolphy.
Dolphy Samuel.
Dolphy
Samuel.
I
Dolphy was
remember
strong also.
Dolphy, he was.
Fernando.
Fernando. Then you still got Stud.
Eversley.
Eversley. Stud.
And don't forget who come along afterward was Seafleet.
Seafleet. Correct.
Was dominant afterward.
Cedric Lambert.
Cedric Lambert, yeah.
Yeah.
Seeds.
I think Cedric was maybe one of the first people to get
Scouted, I think.
scouted.
Yeah, he was one of the first, I think.
And then after Seafleet
Yeah.
also.
Then you had a guy like
Martin, Hodge.
Miguel. You had
Miguel.
a guy
Yeah, we
like
remember
Miguel.
guys.
It's a
Smokes.
Smokes. Better
I
know
always forget
Smokes.
Smokes, right? But
Yeah.
Smokes is one of the best players that Martin ever had.
Yeah.
Definitely. I played all around, played a lot of games against him, and we always, like, you mentioned who was the toughest player to play against. That was the guy that we had
fella
the
was
toughest
good.
player. Yeah, Smokes
He was
smooth.
really good.
When Smoke started to get on a roll, ain't what you gonna do to stop it.
Nope.
So we always gotta, he always forget Smokes, but Smokes was
he
was
could
excellent.
have popped that shot.
With the X-Men, you had Smokes.
From
You had Smokes. You
We
had
also forget
Frankie.
too is
You had all them other guys. Them
Omar.
from
Omar
Oman.
play with us with the Flyers and the
Yeah,
Magic.
a lot of these guys that was really good.
What's his last?
St. Man really
Illich.
had some real good
Okay.
players.
Real smooth on the pin.
We had it all, and
No.
plus we did a lot of training together, like you said with the selection. I remember one night right here, when the tournament was here, the coach tell me, "You're not playing anymore. I just finished work. Rush gone on the field. He threw me out of court. Queen watch me. I just pick up my bag and I went home.
Boy,
That was Coach Graham.
Exactly. Starting 7:00. 7:00 hit. Graham goes. He closed the door.
He can't come in.
Nobody else coming in
Yeah,
after.
and I remember then I hear Queen tell me, "Don't worry, David, don't worry." Then I guess I was so accustomed to training. I would pick up my car, pack it up St. Peter's. Every 5 o'clock, all of us had to get up and run, go up on the court. Remember?
Yeah.
And one day I see Cream and Don Hughes in a car. And I running, going up, boy, to go up on the open court in St. Peter's because I can't get a train. And then I hear Cream say, "Make sure you train hard now because you got to come back just now." I said, wow. Anyhow, I went back and we had to play 3-3s. You gotta go in that court now and you gotta try to come out in the 3-3. A bunch of, and we throwing next to each other now.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, and I hear the coach say if he can't get in the 3-3, he out for good. Again, Cap was a strange fella, eh? He always would sit down and say, "Nah, don't worry, man, let's go at it." And I would sit down and say, "My Cap, he don't want me." And he said, No, David. And not what he say, is what you could do. And I went out there, my son, like take some licks, just to be in the top 3. And I did it, you know, with all his help. Honestly, I gotta say, because he was there for me, you know.
Now, like I got all three of you here. What went wrong in that year with the Liba when the Liba were here in St. Maarten? I think we were pretty close to victory. We had to go through what the BVI or Sint. So,
Yeah,
No,
I
BVI.
gonna take some responsibility. Like I played terrible that tournament.
I want to say that,
If you
man.
asked me, I felt I let down the guys that tournament
okay.
Okay.
I want to say that.
because leading up to that tournament, we had a lot of confidence, and the only team we were really worried about was Antigua.
It's Antigua what gave us
Antigua.
trouble, BBI.
But
Okay.
I thought I could have played a lot better in that tournament.
What had happened in that tournament is we played pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do bad at all. I remember my assignment was to hold Marty from St.
St.
Kitts.
Kitts,
Marty
And
Huggins.
we had Victor and
Trevor Huggins.
you didn't have your best game, but I had one of my best games then because remember I came out MVP in that game. And as a team, if one is not doing well, the other supposed to step up.
Step up.
So, but what did happen to us? We end up coming third in that tournament because we lose in pool play. We lose to BVI. And because BVI was in our pool,
They went on.
they went on and we end up we played for third
Yeah, we
place.
won the third place.
So we went third place against St. Kitts because St. Kitts and we came up here. And that was one of the biggest accomplishments.
Nobody.
That
I
we
want
get
to. I
in
want.
Guys, we run on time. We run out of time. We run out of time. Hour went by so fast, so fast. We really could sit out here for hours and talk and really trash out. We got so much material. I gotta have you guys back in the